Hello viewers and welcome back to round 7 of the EKS here at Daytona Milton Keynes, where we are ready for Split 2 Race 2, still in the very damp conditions. Samuel Bennett starts on pole position ahead of Raj Kular by just 0.08 of a second, with Barney Williams and Andy Laister, two winning contenders on row 2. Henry Walter is in 5th position, with John Dove impressing on debut in 6th. Miles Harding and Charlie Jackson make up row 4. Row 5 consists of Carl Jackson and Ethan Vince Adotsi. Ethan has shown a lot of pace in this round and he'll be hoping to make good on that. Chrissy Harding starts in 11th position, just ahead of Hugh Morrison, with Yachi Lowe making up the rest of the grid. Samuel Bennett and Raj Kular will share the front row here for Split 2 Race 2. It's drying up a little bit, so it should be slightly easier for the guys out there on the circuit. Watching at that board again, when it goes green, we'll be racing, and it is green flag, and away we go here inside of Split 2 Race 2, and it looks like it's a pretty decent start for Raj Kular, who gets ahead into turn 1 and through into turn 2, should hold the lead of the race, but Charlie Jackson has spun around. Carl Jackson, in fact, has spun around off the first corner, Luke.
Yeah, he has, just going through turn 1 there. He was on the inside line, which is the less grippy part of the track, where all the rubber is bedded in to the tarmac, and round he went there, so that's unlucky there for Carl Jackson, father of Charlie Jackson, as we can now see Miles Harding was then on the outside then of John Dove as they went through turn 4, now trying to get the undercut now coming out of turn 5, but it is Barney Williams who's actually got the whole shot there in this race. He started 4th on the grid, but he is now 3rd of the grid, sorry, and he's now through up into the lead of the race. He is ahead of Raj Kular, with then Samuel Bennett in 3rd position ahead of Andy Laister. Andy Laister, actually, as they come into shot here, has got Henry Walter on his inside, the fiance of Raj Kular, but Andy's managed to hold him there around the outside of Tunnel 4. Also, Hugh Morrison, you may have seen in the back a shot there, that rolling start from the static camera, that Hugh Morrison actually spun coming out of the final corner as he got his foot down as the lights went green. He spun it round and he ended up head first in the wall on the inside of turn 11. So not a great start to the race then for Hugh Morrison. He's now down in 13th position as a result.
Frustrating start as Miles Harding now trying to make up a little bit of progress. Goes down the inside line of John Dove here into turn number 9 and is able to find his way through. He set that move up a little bit earlier on and was able to capitalise into turn 10. There's also side-by-side action at the lead of the race. In fact, it's the 2nd position as Samuel Bennett has just got himself past Raj Kular, I believe, but Raj goes back down the inside line. Now Sam Bennett trying to find his way through into turn 1, will just about elbow his way through into the first corner and is able to get ahead of Raj Kular, now into 2nd position. He's got a job to chase after Barney Williams as they make a bit of contact again into turn 2. Raj is getting a little bit too optimistic into that 2nd corner, and now down into turn 4, gets optimistic again, but Samuel Bennett is able to hold on.
Yeah, Raj trying for the inside lines here. Obviously, if you go around the outside, you're just going to get stuck behind the driver in front. She's trying to go for the inside, trying to get through, but obviously she is finding out on both occasions that there isn't too much grip on the inside of the corner because it's wet. So yeah, that is why she's not able to get through on Samuel Bennett there, but she's having some good racing nonetheless. We also just saw Carl Jackson, who's on his recovery drive now through the field, having spun on that one, just got through on Yachi Lowe, and he's now back up in 211 position, so he'll try and catch the back of it. Carl actually had a really good race in the previous race. It's his first time ever driving in a 2-stroke kart, so really tricky conditions to make a 2-stroke debut in. As Henry Walter there, he spins out going through turn number 7. I was just saying, yeah, Carl doing a good job here, finished 8th in the previous race, now charging back through the field. Henry Walter, meanwhile, is now down in 10th position. I think he was on the inside actually of Ethan Vince-Dozy going in to turn number 7, but yeah, looped it around there and he's now dropped it down to 10th.
Miles Harding now chasing after Andy Laister as they make their way into turn 9. It's going to be tricky for Miles. Andy's been pretty quick so far in this round, showing his skill in the wet conditions, but Miles into turn 10 will close up a little bit. So it's a bit deceiving because on the exit of turn 10, you do find how that power application just lengthens that gap out once again, but into turn 10, and he's still having to look behind him slightly, just now aware of Miles Harding's presence there in the background. Into turn 1 they go, taking that outside wet line, and still Miles looks to attack. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it's 9 tenths of a second in between Barney Williams and Sam Bennett. Now look at Miles Harding, he's gone almost all the way up, but gets a hefty amount of opposite lock out of turn 3 and into turn 4. Just isn't able to squeeze up to the back of Andy Laister.
Yeah, it's a good drive from the two of them here. Oh, he's gone round! And he's into the tyres as well. That's unlucky there for Miles Harding. It's a repeat of race 1, running up at the sharp end, setting good lap times, but unfortunately not quite able to keep the car pointing in a straight line. So he's just spun it there on the brakes, going into turn number 5, and he's dropped down behind John Dove. So I now believe he's down in 6th position with John Dove promoted up to P5. John Dove's actually one of his drivers making a debut here today, as we can see on the drone camera, just coming to shot there. That's Samuel Bennett. He's caught right up to Barney Williams as they head now into the bus stop chicane, briefly side by side there coming out of turn number 8. Barney Williams tucks in back ahead for the time being, but this is a great scrap here for the lead of the race. This is Samuel Bennett's first time ever driving a D-Max car in the wet, so he's done a really good job here keeping up with Barney Williams, who's one of our heavyweight drivers, now heading down in to turn 10, the penultimate corner on the circuit. Samuel Bennett going for more of an inside line. There is actually a dry patch on the inside of that corner if you can get to it. The approach to that corner is wet, but the inside is dry. Quite a tricky one to get right, but it is Barney Williams who for the time being has held on to the lead of the race ahead of Samuel Bennett, as Miles Harding now is caught back up to John Dove, and these now are battling for P5.
Yes, and well, we'll keep a keen eye on that Bennett-Williams battle as we go through. As Miles Harding now is really involved in a battle as he goes down the inside line here, trying to get back through. I think this is after his spin, does get back through, and is able to now get all the way up to the back of John Dove, just ahead of him. Now on the outside into turn 4, trying to set himself up for that switch back, which is so powerful in the wet, but John Dove just able to hold on for now. Miles though still really trying to attack, and he's really on the verge of spinning at pretty much every corner on this track. That's a good exit though out of turn 5, and John Dove will have to look over his shoulder. He gets better straight line speed though, and Miles Harding finding it very, very tricky in these conditions. Now he gets a better run, maybe gets a run actually into turn 7, but again John just knows where to place the kart. Miles now goes for the move. He's sliding all across the racetrack and makes it done. A very, very tidy move, which he'll consolidate here into the bus stop chicane, into the cliff drop chicane, excuse me.
That was a brilliant move there for Miles Harding. He went for the dry line as actually Laister spun there going through turn number 5. Yeah, it was a brilliant move for Miles Harding. Went for the dry line where there is no grip, and he just sent it, made it stick, did a perfect slide through the corner, cut John Dove off on exit, and he's now through. It was Charlie Jackson who appeared at the start of the lap on the inside of Miles Harding. He actually briefly got the cutback coming out the final corner and did get ahead going across the start-finish side, but now Miles, he's got John Dove back on his inside, so John Dove back on the scene, and he's now back through into P5. So great battle this is as Miles Harding goes back for the inside, finds the drying patch on the inside, and he's got a better exit here, and he's now back through into P5. What a battle this is. You can see as well, it's a few cars in quick succession. You got Miles now in P5 at the front of the train ahead of John Dove, and then Charlie Jackson in 7th place, and then Miles' wife, Christy Harding, she's readying in the pack in front, and she is not far behind in 8th.
No, not at all, and it was some very good moves from Miles Harding, who spins again, and he's been followed through by John Dove, and oh dear, Chrissy Harding gets involved as well. That's the 5th spin now for Miles Harding, a very frustrated Miles Harding inside of this round of the EKS, and that train has dissipated almost immediately. He's still under pressure from Chrissy here, but John Dove and Miles Harding both spinning in quick succession down into turn 2, and honestly, that's almost ruined this battle a little bit, but we've still got a battle at the front of the field, Luke.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying that Miles, again, just losing on the brakes. I think he's struggling with these two-stroke brakes in the where they are very tricky, these Kelgate brakes. They're very sensitive, quite hard to get a feel for in these types of conditions. Really easy to lock up. I know that from experience myself. So it's forgivable for Miles. I think this is only his 2nd time as well driving a D-Max car in the wet. So yeah, easy to understand why he's struggling with these conditions. Like you say, Barney Williams and Samuel Bennett, they are together at the front of the field, less than a second apart. They are battling. Unfortunately though, neither of them have any onboards, so we can't really see what's going on besides a few glimpses on the static cameras and on the drive. But as you can just see the distance there, I think that is a move there, as I was saying, by Samuel Bennett up the inside of Barney Williams. Just saw that on the drone shot there, and Samuel Bennett went up the inside of Barney Williams, wasn't able to get the grip on exit though. Barney got a much better exit because there's a lot more grip around the outside of that corner, and Barney Williams has held on to the lead for the time being.
Yeah, might just do it for now. There's a good chunk of time between the two of them. It's probably closing in on about a second or so, but I feel like there's more to write about that battle coming up very, very shortly. Miles Harding, meanwhile, crosses the line once again as we've got just about 5 minutes to go or so inside of this race. 4 minutes or so to go, I should say, inside this race. So it's getting into the late opportunities. Let's follow the drone a little bit here, because we've got Barney Williams and Samuel Bennett very, very close together. It's Barney Williams just in front at the moment, but Samuel Bennett's looked very good in the last couple of corners. And now as they find that dry patch on the outside of turn 7, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of closing speed for Samuel Bennett all over the curb on driver's right. Now down into the cliff drop chicane. It's an absolute chase scene between these two at the moment, and I don't think it's going to be very long before we see them really starting to scrap.
Yeah, Barney Williams is one of our top heavyweight drivers here in the EKS. He's repeatedly come home as the top senior heavyweight in recent rounds in the series, so he's really been doing well in recent times, and he is winning this race here at the moment. This will be his first ever victory in the EKS if he does hold on to this here. It will also be Samuel Bennett as he's back up the inside through turn 9. It will be his first victory if he's able to get through here, as they now head in to the penultimate corner on the lap, but not able to get through there. He did think about it, Samuel Bennett, but wasn't able to get the run on Barney as he came out the corner. So it's going to be a debut victory for both of them. In fact, I don't think Barney Williams has ever really finished up at the sharp end of any of the races. I don't think he's ever been in the top 3 or so. So this is going to be a great result for Barney Williams if he can hold on here. Barney Williams, he's a member of the Retice Racing team. He's got his own custom suit, as you can see as well, with his name on the back of it. Samuel Bennett, meanwhile, is one of our drivers who actually took part in our Group D-Max assessment here at Milton Keynes back in May, which is how he's then been able to race today with us, courtesy of Parker's passing his assessment with us. So he's really putting what he learned in that assessment, which is kind of a tuition, he's putting that into good use here as Miles Harding goes round once more. Just cut to him again, now re-overtaken by Charlie Jackson again into the same corner, into turn number 2. He locks up the brakes and round he has gone. That's really unlucky for Miles Harding as he goes round again. Miles, come on mate, stop pressing the brakes so hard as the pack comes back through again. I think that's a side-by-side action actually, which we've now got a good camera angle of, so thank you for the spin, Miles. Now we can see this battle between, I think, your wife actually and John Dove as you go round again. Miles, stop braking so hard. Miles Harding, he was running in P6, but now he is down, so I think that is 9th position. So unlucky there for Miles Harding. 3 spins in 3 corners.
Yeah, when you said once more, I was raising some alarm bells, and it definitely wasn't once more.
Oh, I was taking the lead.
Back in. As Miles Harding goes wide, we don't focus back in on the battle for the lead, as Barney Williams is somehow just about in the lead of the race. We'll be heading into, I believe, the final lap of the race this time by, and it means Samuel Bennett has basically got just under the 90 seconds or so to try and get ahead of Barney Williams. He looks to the outside into turn 2, but there's no way through at that part of the track. It'll be turn number 3 and turn number 4 now that he has the opportunity to get through, but again, it's just so tricky when there's only really one line of racing possible to find the grip to make your way through. As Barney defends again, there's a bit of contact between the two of them. It's only light contact, albeit, and now they make their way out of turn 5, up the hill slightly into turn 6, possibly the chicane's going to be the best opportunity here for Samuel Bennett as we follow this battle all the way through. He's just got to stay behind into turn 7. It will open up for him into cliff drop, potentially into bus stop as well, as there we go, down into cliff drop they go, and it is so close, just a few kart lengths in between these two drivers, and it's closing and closing. The railway straight after the bus stop chicane coming up shortly. Barney Williams still going on the defensive. In the meantime, Miles Harding trying to get past John Dove a little bit further back in the lap as they now make their way into turn number 6, but down the back straight for what's possibly going to be the final time in this race are our 2 leaders. Bit of traffic just ahead of them as well, as now down the inside goes Barney Williams as Samuel Bennett's forced to the outside line. The back marker gets in the way, tries to get out of the way as quickly as possible, and they're going to be almost side by side up to the line. Barney looks over his right shoulder, needs to defend into turn 11 for the final time, makes his way out of the corner, and he's going to take victory, his first victory in the EKS, and it is Barney Williams on the top step.
Yeah, great drive there by Barney Williams. What a battle that was for the lead. Not too many overtakes over the course of the race, but they were glued to each other throughout, and it is Barney Williams who just held on and takes his debut victory in the EKS. Raj Kular, meanwhile, coming home in P3. I think that's her best ever result in the EKS. Andy Laister coming home in P4. That's a strong result for himself as well. As you can now see Charlie Jackson come out the final corner. He comes across the line, coming home in 5th. Really strong result from him. He's normally an indoor driver, not used to wet conditions or two-stroke karts, so he's done well here. And Ethan Vitadozzi got a good result there as well, coming home in P6. It's now coming across the line. Miles Harding, he's still in 7th position actually. It was a really good recovery job. You just saw in the top right hand corner through those final few laps. He did get through on both his wife Chrissy Harding and through on John Dove. And whilst that's going on as well, that's a battle for 10th place going on in the background. That's Kyle Jackson up the inside of Henry Walter going through the final corner now as they come towards the camera. Who's going to win the drag race to the line? It's just about going to be Henry Walter, who holds on around the outside then against Kyle Jackson and beats him by 0.2 of a second at the finish line. What a battle that was then for 10th place. At the end, they've come home in 10th and 11th with Yachilo and Schumacher Orton in 12th and 13th. As we saw then, Barney Williams took the victory ahead of Samuel Bennett by just over half a second at the finish line, and Barney's also now been promoted to Split 1 for the 3rd race of the day as a result of his victory. Raj Kular came home in 3rd ahead of Andy Laister, with Charlie Jackson doing well to finish in 5th. Ethan Vitadozzi did a really good job finishing in P6, whilst Miles Harding recovered to 7th after his spins. John Dove and Chrissy Harding drag raced the line to finish in 8th and 9th place respectively, only a 10th between them at the finish line, with Henry Walter and Kyle Jackson, as we just saw, also drag racing to the line, only 2 tenths separating them at the finish, with Yachilo, as you can see in the background now, just coming to finish, and Hugh Moreton being the car that got lapped right at the finish line there by the leaders. We can now head down to the pit lane where our reigning heavyweight champion Matthew Bolton is joined by Barney Williams, Miles Harding and Ethan Vitadozzi.
So we're here with Barney Williams after an impressive victory in Heat 2, Split 2. How was that race?
Yeah, it was really good, really intense, just with the whole changeable conditions. I had Sam Bennett behind me, just throwing lunges at me left, right and centre, but thankfully there was just so much more grip on the outside that I managed to just pull away from him.
Oh, it was very composed driving. We sung your praises in the commentary box. You were all around the outside, and there was no real opportunity for him on the inside. So, yeah, are you hoping it will stay this way, or is it?
I'm hoping so, yeah. If I'm being honest, it's a lot more fun, and just being a bit heavier as well kind of does make a slight difference as well with the wet weather. But I mean, at the moment, it's looking like it might just stay the same, because I mean, I don't see it drying out anytime soon.
Well, this track is as unruly as ever. But promotion to Split 1,
yeah.
Is that an exciting challenge for you?
Oh yeah, I'm buzzing with that.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right, well, good luck with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that.
So we're here with the comeback kid, Ethan Vitadozzi. Fantastic drive from last on the grid to 6th, I believe it was.
I think 4th fastest, might be 6th.
4th fastest, but 6th on the road, I think.
Yeah.
How was that?
Mate, honestly, it was so good. It was very relieving. I had a lot of motivation from my corner, from my sister, my mum. Just kind of getting my head in the game, kind of cut everyone else out and just on my own drive. Yeah, sticking to the dry patches, found a few sneaky dry patches in the corners which are giving me a bit more of a boost out. But yeah, overall I'm just really happy. Fast laps.
Well, you certainly seemed excited wanted another interview, so it's nice to see this redemption after some happenings in a
bit of a miserable start.
To this afternoon in the Heat 1.
Yeah.
But
hopefully I can get on the podium next race.
I believe it's possible. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
So we're here with Miles Harding after Split 2, Heat 2. How was that race?
I think it was spinning. That was great. I kept my position, even though I span out about 3 times in one lap. I was tried out some controversial wet lines, and yeah, I held it. I got there. I think I finished in a decent place.
I think you did very well. Are you looking forward to Heat 3?
I'm looking forward to Heat 3. Hopefully it dries out a bit more, and hopefully I can finish that extra position up.
Well, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Miles.
Thanks, sir.